Welcome back. A Fox 35 consumer alert for you this morning. It looks like most Americans will be working until they die. A new study finds that 1 in 2 Americans are not saving anything for their retirement. The study found 56% of 18 to 34-year-olds haven't saved a penny. Meantime, as you know, healthcare costs are on the rise, and financial expert Joe Bert is joining us live this morning to talk about these scary statistics, Joe. It's frightening when you read some of these statistics. I can't imagine not having saved a penny between that time frame of 18 to 34.
Well, Amy, it's really what's going on in this country, and unfortunately, as we were saying, I think our educational system has failed us. They don't teach the consequences of not saving, and I think the younger generation thinks they're going to be okay because their grandparents were okay, but they forget that most of the grandparents retired with a pension. They had something to fall back on. They usually had their house paid for, had a pension, had Social Security. Pensions are out the window. If you plan on living on Social Security, it's not going to be a pretty picture.
Let's talk about some of the easy things this age group, especially this younger age group, can be doing right now that will save them a lot of heartache in the future.
The easiest thing, and yet the most difficult thing, is to live within your means. Pay yourself first. You know, if you set aside $1 now, let's say at age 25, and you save it until age 65, in a 401k plan, that could be worth as much as $45 to you, a 45-to-1 return. If you wait till you're 55, it's only worth about $2.50. The earlier you start, the more you'll have.
All right, let's talk about some of these other age groups, because some of these other numbers are really troubling too. More than 9 million senior citizens cannot pay their bills, and 60% of older women cannot afford their basic expenses. When you get to that point, what can you do?
There are not a lot of alternatives, and that's where we are as a country. And frankly, that's why it's a big talk during political season. You know, promise me this, give me this, make me dependent upon the government, and I'll vote for you. And unfortunately, that's what's going on in this country. We're beginning to look like Europe because we need that stuff. We haven't planned for it, so we're looking to Big Daddy to provide it.
We were talking in the commercial break about Social Security. What are your thoughts on that, and who should and should not expect it?
Well, I think the baby boomers will be okay. If you're 55 and older, it's not going to change. But if you're younger than that, you'll have Social Security, but you'll probably have to wait longer and probably end up getting less.
All right, and last but not least, we want to go back to the younger folks again. The average burden of debt by 20-something, you talked about living within your means. Average burden of debt, $45,000. Is a lot of that student loan money? Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, most of it's student loans, but unfortunately, kids graduate from college and they get a job, and then they go buy a car, and they start doing this, and they don't really focus on savings, and they get in this spiral, and it begins to wind down, and they look at it for the rest of their lives. You got to have a solid plan. You've got to think positively, pay yourself first, and you'll be okay.
All right, Joe Bert, Certified Financial Group, always giving us great advice. Thank you, Joe, for being with us.
Thank you, Amy.
All right,